Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Pisces, October 4, 2022. Even with some tension in the first half of the day, an overall generous feeling keeps your spirits high. Interactions are mutually beneficial and supportive today if you aim to see both sides of the story. The moon is in your sector of work and routines, highlighting your daily affairs and desire to be useful. While it can be a good period of the lunar month for getting your life straightened out in small ways, watch for pressure or tension early today, as impatience can trip you up. You don't have to ignore your motivation to set things right, but it's a good idea to pace yourself. Let pleasure be on the top of your priority list today. As sweet Venus, our goddess planet of love, adoration, and affection, twinkles across the sky from our great benefic planet, Jupiter, you'll be eager to express yourself and connect with others. Relax and enjoy the good life to the fullest. This is one of those rare days where you can act as if you have not a care in the world. Embrace the magic of new friendships or flirtations and live vibrantly. A good day like this doesn't come twice. Show the world your sugar and spice. Key commitments can make or break the success of your professional path. As Venus in Libra opposes Jupiter retrograde in Aries, you may need to work on the core arrangements, contracts, or relationships that play an integral structure in your career path. Depending on your commitments, they could drastically influence the trajectory of your reputation, accomplishments, and status. It is important to feel at peace with such aspects of your career so that you can take off with confidence. Just as Saturn is separating from a friendly aspect to Mars over the last few days, he moves into not just his final 3 weeks in retrograde motion in your financial sector but his final weeks in retrograde motion here for another 3 decades. There might still be financial challenges, but Mars is giving you the confidence to use this as a chance to take your financial power back. Your heart is most likely where you want it to be today. There are moments in life that we wish we could capture on film: the way you feel good after a healthy meal, the feeling of strength when you complete a great workout, the successful meeting of minds when you share your feelings with those closest to you. These are all magnificent daily experiences we can have for free, as long as we pay attention to our personal needs. This is a day that will highlight your rigor, dear. Your intelligence will be very concrete today and your faculty for organization at its best. Once more you will know how to realize a perfect accord between your sense of duty and sacrifice. Perhaps you are realizing an action that is useful for the public, visiting someone who is sick or helping friends or family. Nothing will stop you from acting and for the good of all. Sometimes it is not just the event itself that is significant but the timing, and that is definitely the case today. Less than 2 hours before Mercury, the planet of communication, is due to turn direct in your communication sector. The moon not only returns to your relationship sector but just as Pluto moves into his final 7 days in retrograde motion here. The moon returns with a chance to become more emotionally engaged but also to capture a moment, and the communication and relationship gods are both holding the doors open to the past and second chances. In a case of perfect timing, the moon not only returns to your relationship sector just as Pluto moves into his final 7 days in retrograde motion here, but just as Mercury, the planet of communication, turns direct in your communication sector. The moon will return during Mercury's final hours in retrograde motion, with a chance to capitalize on a chance that has been building all week to give your relationships, the past, and unsaid words a voice. Our eyes in the sky. The energy requires you to stay on your toes. It could pull you in different directions, but if you seize the day you'll benefit in the end. There is so much happening at once with today's transits. A strong pull between earth and fire has a hand in both moving things forward practically and jumping into things courageously. The moon is in Capricorn while the sun is in Libra, and there is a strong sense that we need to be brave today. Your creative passion is burning in your soul, but it requires some kind of organization. With a square between the loving sun in Libra and the domineering moon in Capricorn, there's a dynamic pull between structure and ambition. This is where the conflict arises and where you really need to hold it down. Remember that everyone thinks they're right. There is a conviction in the collective that could go either way. Pay close attention to the news you receive over the next few days, and don't give up on your dream. Mercury turns direct today, ending the current retrograde. With plenty of raw and real conversations going on, you might come to a conclusion that you've needed to understand for many years. This could completely change the direction of your internal compass. Never compromise your needs for the needs of others. After midnight, the moon enters Capricorn and ends its void of course that began yesterday afternoon. Over the next 2 days, we abandon Sagittarian optimism for Capricorn stoicism. The moon's transit through this sign can cause us to come off as cold or disinterested in our interactions with others. In reality, we are simply less demonstrative of our emotions. We are more reserved and calculating, weighing the risks and rewards of our choices. Life becomes a kind of cost-benefit analysis. In this frame of mind, sacrifices can be made for a long-term legacy we can be proud of. On the one hand, you see many of your strengths and feel pretty good about yourself. On the other hand, you feel the one nagging thing you haven't been able to quite work out dragging you down. If you continue to compare yourself to others, you will create a real problem for yourself. If you use the positive to confront the negative within yourself, you stand a chance of a real breakthrough. Try to keep yourself centered through some aerobic exercise to keep the fresh blood flowing. In the pre-dawn hours, Mercury stations direct after 3 weeks of being retrograde. Errors in judgments were particularly visible during the messenger planet's backspin through communication-oriented Libra and detail-obsessed Virgo. However, misunderstandings and missed appointments have been a blessing in disguise, compelling us to slow down, pause, and recalibrate. We've been forced to get extra clear about what we want, especially in our relationships. Although we are now clear to return to our seat at the negotiating table, Mercury will be moving through its post-retrograde shadow until October, so continue to exercise mindfulness.